been trained in your Jedi arts by Count Dooku. Attack!
Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a great day so far. Today we're going to go over why did General Grievous lose to Obi-Wan Kenobi. You know, Grievous was a famous and powerful Jedi exterminator. His abilities to track down Jedi and kill them was one of his most highly esteemed skills. Having originally been a reptilian creature from the planet Kaleesh, Grievous was later turned into a cyborg at the request of Sidious and the oversight of Dooku, using Jedi Master Sifo Dyas' blood to circulate through his veins as he adorned his tribal mask to complete his robotic appearance. He was one of the most gifted Jedi hunters in the galaxy, having defeated countless Keepers of the Peace and taking their lightsabers as a token for his collection. With such an ability, including his 4 dangerous lightsaber-wielding arms, it makes one question: how did Obi-Wan defeat him? I mean, don't get me wrong, Obi-Wan was a skilled Jedi, but he was not the best in relation to Master Windu or Yoda. That's what we will discuss in today's episode of Star Wars Theory. Though Kenobi focused largely on defensive lightsaber combat, he was also very skilled and powerful in the use of the Force. He was well versed in the use of the mind trick, Force persuasion, Force push, and the more advanced dominate mind skill. He could use the Force to increase his body's endurance and agility, amplifying his speed to such an extent that he could literally disappear from sight in a blur, either to avoid attacks or to strike first with his own. This last ability is one of the main things we will address in our in-depth analysis. We should also address that Kenobi wasn't very attuned to the Force, naturally, believe it or not. It was his ability to persevere and seek out his trainings until they were perfected, causing him to have to put up to triple the amount of time to learn something that, let's say, a more naturally gifted Force user would. This intelligence is what set Obi-Wan apart. His mastery in his studies is what propelled him to become a Jedi Master after he avenged Qui-Gon, and his problem-solving tactics far outweigh the others. With every opponent, he knew there was a weakness, and if he could track the pattern, he could defeat them. With Grievous, it was no different. Without the ability to use the Force, and just wielding sabers as fast as he could, Grievous was merely just a swordsman rather than a Force-attuned duelist, which played a big difference. Without the Force flowing through him, he was just a Rubik's Cube waiting to be solved, which is exactly what Kenobi did. By the end of the war, Kenobi's study into Soresu had resulted in absolute mastery of the style. His skill was such that he was considered by Mace Windu not to simply be a master of Soresu, but to be the master of Soresu. Soresu relied on tight blade work and subtle dodges to provide maximum defensive coverage, minimizing exposure to ranged weaponry. Over time, Soresu transcended the basic origin. It later became noted by the Council to be the ultimate fighting form of non-aggressive Jedi philosophy. Like Makashi, Soresu relied on economy of motion and energy efficiency, keeping up constant blade work movement to build up momentum and minimize energy expenditure in his duel with Grievous. His mastery allowed him to comfortably counter up to 18 of Grievous' strikes per second. When Grievous intensified his attack, Kenobi stopped stonewalling the general and simply began altering the angle of his parries. This caused confusion and failure, cutting off 2 of Grievous' mechanical hands, and now leaving just 2 left, which was no problem for Obi-Wan. The fight transcended to hand-to-hand combat, which was a mistake on Kenobi's part once disarmed, but he really had no other option, as no human can win against mechanical machines. After being flung to the edge of the platform, Obi-Wan used the Force to draw upon the blaster and fired perfectly targeted shots to the general's opening in his armor, and thus exploding his heart. Does anyone wonder why Grievous coughs? Well, if you don't know, it's because Mace Windu crushed his armor around his lungs, causing him to cough in the Revenge of the Sith. And also, the cough was actually recorded by Lucas when he had bronchitis, coughing into a microphone. I hope you enjoyed this new installment to the How Did They Lose series. Would you like for me to make a series on all the lightsaber fighting styles and the strengths and weaknesses? I think that would be kind of cool. Let me know in the comments. I hope you're all having a great day or night. I'm really honored that you guys watched this video and took the time out of your day to check it out. I'll see you all tomorrow in the next episode of Star Wars Theory, and remember,
The Force will be with you, always.